All right, team. So, let me talk to you about Mr. Malthus and his theory of Malthusian checks. Now, I learnt this in geography. Might have been GCSE, it might have been A-level, who knows. But basically, imagine an area, a population. You've got a certain geographical area, and people start to move into it. So, in they move. The population moves in. Now, this geographical area seems nice at first. The trees are green, the grass is green, and there's some, a clean water, a little lake in the middle of it. Everyone's happy, so some people move in. Initially, everything's going well, everyone's feeling good, life is great. Moods are high, food is plentiful, water's plentiful, everything's good. Okay, but people keep seeing this, people keep moving in to this area. And overpopulation starts to happen. There starts to be too many people for the area to sustain it. There's too little food for them to eat, and there's too little water for them to drink, and there's too little drainage for the sewage to escape the area. So population builds up, it builds up, it builds up, until the environment can't sustain itself anymore. And then what happens? Cholera. Cholera happens, all right? So the sewage can't go anywhere, it can't drain, people start to get ill. They start to have all sorts of bodily functions that they really wish wouldn't happen. And the long and short of it is, they basically die. Okay, now, I've set a nice precedent in your mind there. Okay, so what happened there was a Malthusian check. What it was saying is that the world and ecosystems and environments in general, see how hard I pronounce the N in environment there? That was silly, wasn't it? In general environments, they have a certain carrying capacity for population. When you get to a certain size of population, the environment can no longer sustain itself, so a check occurs to bring it back down to a level that it can handle itself. In this case, your Malthusian check is cholera, and it kills a load of the population to get it back down to a population that is sustainable. And then, our happy little utopia with clean water in the middle and lots of green grass and food can go back to itself. That's a tick, because it's a good thing. This is a cross, it's a bad thing. Okay, so what I'm trying to get through is that everything in the world has some form of checkpoint and some form of optimal zone that you're working in to that everything functions properly. You included. Me too. So you have an optimal zone of food, lifestyle, training, body weight, all that kind of stuff to be healthy and to be functioning at your best. Now that can move around a little bit if you get everything in play, but what I'm trying to work on is this concept that we need to all be aware of our own kind of optimal zone and where we should insert our own checkpoints, our own upper and lower limits for where we let that thing go. So this is about keeping, your long-term health and happiness long-term. This is about stopping you yo-yoing up and down, gaining weight, losing weight, getting fitter, getting less fit, that kind of stuff. Because that is ultimately what we're all looking for, right? Every single person I speak to, every single new member I speak to on the phone is telling me they're sick of yo-yoing up and down. They're sick of the inconsistency. They're sick of having been fit and not being fit right now. And the long and short of it is we need to insert some of these checks into the life so that you can get on top of things when they change. Because there will actually be an inherent variability. Let's say this is body weight. Body weight. This is the higher end, and this is the lower end of your body weight range. So for me, realistically, let's say my high end is 90 kilos, my low end is 84 kilos. So I have a 1 stone range that I'm okay working in. So what happens is, certain things, let's say the gym goes mental, it's super busy, I have a couple of kids and everything goes mental. And you either, and you stop training. So let's say my body weight goes down because I'm no longer training enough to maintain my body weight. Over a period of time, it drops that 84 kilo mark. And when I get on the scales and I see 84 kilos, that is a check for me. that means I'm not looking after my shit, basically. So I need to start adapting my behavior to get it back to where I want it to go to. So that means getting back in the gym, just finding any way to make progress, to lift some weights, to stimulate some muscle growth, and start to build me back up to kind of my optimal weight, which is like 88, 87, something like that. Equally, let's say the same thing happens in the opposite direction, in that I stop training and I just start eating loads of rubbish food. My body weight creeps up and it hits 90 kilos. If it hits 90 kilos, I know that if I'm not training enough, there's no way that's good weight. That is not good muscle, and I need to start adapting it. And again, we know what the answer is: eating right, training right. But equally, I've got to think about, well, what's actually causing this behavior shift? Because that's the biggest thing. So my little Malthusian check tells me that I'm not in the right place. I need to now sit down, dial back, and think, all right, what's causing me to eat crap food and not train? Inevitably, stress. Okay, when everything's going well, it's easy to do all the right things. But can you do the right things when you're stressed? And it's easy to think, I'm too stressed to train right now. I don't feel good right now. I haven't got the headspace to train right now. And it's like, now is when you need to train most. Now is when you need a positive outlet for your energy. Because all you've got when you're super stressed is a nervous outlet for nervous energy. More work, and you just go round and round in circles. You start to think that you just need to work more and more and more, and you couldn't possibly take any time out to look after yourself, do something healthy. And by train, maybe it's just go for a walk, and actually just get a bit of fresh air, take the dogs down the beach, go for a walk in the hills, go for a bike ride, go for a run, do something. I couldn't possibly do that, I've got to be working. But how productive is the next 3 hours of your day going to be? If you're super stressed, wound up, anxious, like I've definitely been there, I know exactly what that feels like. Whereas if you can take 30 minutes to do a quick training session, go for a walk, or if you started your day with a good 1 hour session with great people that energize you and sets you up in a fresh state to be productive, the 2 hours that you've got left are now going to be so much more productive than 3 wasted slow hours. So everyone should have these checks. And it could be physical things, it could be body weight, it could be size, it could be strength, in terms of like what can I squat, bench, or what can I do a certain 500 meter row in, something like that. It could also be the number of sessions that you attend in a week, or the softer ones like how are you behaving? Are you snappy with your friends and family? When was the last time you actually had a good fun night out? But not just getting wasted, actually just with good friends, just relaxing and being able to kind of have a joke, that kind of stuff. When was the last time you did something that you felt positive about? All these things should be little checks. And once you hit a check, you take time to think about what's going on and you adapt your behavior. That is the only way that you will keep this thing going long term. Because it's easy when you're super motivated to have this, perfect run of training, get your body where you want it to, get your, energy levels and that kind of stuff. The real sign of success is what happens when it's not easy anymore. How are you going to handle that? And that doesn't mean that you have to stick with this bullheaded perfect solution. That's no good either. You have to reassess and come up with a new solution that keeps you in the game, that keeps you training, that keeps you surrounded by people that lift you up and get you better, not separate yourself from all that just so that you can, fight with yourself all day, every day about being stressed and basically, come up with reasons why it's not a good fit. So, for me, that means I might do regular but very short sessions. It gets my energy up, it doesn't batter me, keeps me moving, keeps me feeling good. It might be focusing on 1 meal a day to get my food back in track. It'll be focusing on not going out to the pub 4 or 5 nights a week, taking that down to 1 night a week, and then doing other social things with those people if you can. And if you can't do anything other than go to the pub with those people, you've got to think, of those people actually, people I want to spend my time with? They are leading me to a place where I don't want to go. Actually, I'd rather find people that do want to go out for a bike ride of an evening, or want to go for a walk, or want to train, or something like that. So any questions, as always, post them below. The idea of these videos is to help learn, educate, ask some questions that you can sit down and question yourself, and also give you a reason to reach out to us and let us help you more. So post below and we'll do exactly that.